I'm gonna do an insight video today. I haven't done one for a few weeks because I've just been on holiday and I've just been doing normal sort of stuff, going away and had a bit of a break from work. So coming back and just gonna do a bit of a sort of like a reading today. Um, Lately I've sort of like been sort of receiving stuff from the Ascended Masters around sort of like teachings and things, just trying to sort of connect into and sort of I did a reading a little while ago about ascended master like Jesus, and I talked about like I am the way, light, I am the way, I am the truth, and I feel like some of that consciousness, like that Christ consciousness, that sort of like ascended master sort of vibration has been coming through over the last couple of days. And one of the things I was looking at was around things like present peace, but also like this state of being, and the fact like ascended master Jesus was called like the Prince of Peace. And I started to connect into that more and more. And I was trying to sort of, I was walking the other day. I'd just gone to the garage to get something to look at my car, and I was just doing a walk. And as I was walking, I was getting into some energy, and I was just thinking about what does this mean, like this notion of like the ascended master Jesus and like the Prince of Peace. And why was he called this? Why was it called like the Prince of Peace? And as I connect into this, I feel like it's a very sort of like the Christ consciousness is this very sort of like golden, like universal consciousness, but it's also like as I start to talk about this, I feel like again I've got like white energy as I start to connect to this, which is clarity. It's like wisdom. It's higher awareness, higher consciousness. And I was trying to sort of connect into it. I was connecting into like this sort of Prince of Peace, and I was thinking, well, what does this mean? And as I was connecting into the energy, it was very much around sort of the teaching of beingness, or like being, and this sense of sort of like when you're in a state of being, you're in a state of consciousness where you're aligned. You're aligned with your source energy, your source light, but you're also aligned with and sort of like when you talk about like the ascended master Jesus, you talk about sort of like this Prince of Peace. His beingness was sort of like using his consciousness in a way that he was looking at how it connected into sort of source light and energy, which is this unconditional again. And the Prince of Peace comes from that kind of consciousness that he was walking and being this vibration, being this energy of peace, being this energy of harmony, being this energy of presence, being this energy of alignment, aligned and sort of in harmony with that. And it's like this is what the sort of the message was coming through, because there's a lot of us that are being sort of just distracted by the external world. But again, this state of beingness is also I've been talking about like the inner and the external world, and I've been talking about like universal law of correspondence, which is the inner world where you create something, and then you express it. You express your true nature, your true light, and then you express it sort of like consciously and integrate it within the physical world, and you create like a new reality. And for me though, when I was connecting to this state of beingness, it was going a little bit further than that, because I've been talking about in a sense separating like the inner world and the outer world. They're not separate. The universal sort of truth and the law of one is that everything is connected. There is no inner or outer. There just is. And when you start to get to a stage of like presence and consciousness, like the ascended master Jesus was, he walked in that light and expressed that light, expressed that truth. And when he did that, his state of beingness was expressing um, expressing that sort of reality, and there was no in or out. There were just like it was he would create and manifest um, using his energy and his consciousness in that moment, and this would create like a vibration, a frequency, and this is what people connected to. His vibration, his frequency, that he was connected to this. Um, to sort of like that high vibration, that high awareness, and he was bringing this consciousness through like a new state of being, a new way of being. And what it was doing was manifesting on the planet, and it was bringing through a vibration and a frequency that people were connecting to, because what it was doing was it was aligning to them, and then it was accessing them. And it's like in a state, in a sense, Master Jesus and all the ascended masters, that they're walking and connected to their like what you call their higher selves, their infinite selves, that are connected to source energy and vibration and light. And in that sense, what they were doing is they were sort of like expressing their essence, their truth. And this is what the Master Jesus does. He was walking around this light and this energy of pure harmony, pure balance, pure peace, with and expressing his source energy. And he was doing it from a place of unconditional, which is the place that we all want to get to. This is that the master place. When we can get to there, then we can start to dissolve and release things. um, Everything is a vibration, everything is a frequency, everything is light and energy, and it's about us getting to that state. But it was making me think the other day, like when I was walking around, and you know, I was looking at my vibration, my consciousness, my frequency, and I was looking at, there's a lot of things that go on in my life that I get caught up in. You get caught up in, the daily worries, the daily things. And also fear comes in a lot. Fear comes in for us a lot of the time, where we sort of like, we look at something and we become fearful, or we have doubts, or we have sort of like questions. It's like the if, buts, and maybes. And for me, it's again this. The other day when I was looking at this, I was trying to sort of like integrate and sort of like align with that kind of vibration of Master Jesus, which was very much where he walked, still with that essence, still with that light, still with that frequency. And obviously we all know Jesus' story, and we all know the biblical story of the sort of like the challenges and the things that he went through within his life. And for me, it was just like another lesson. It was another reminder that the Prince of Peace, that fear is something that we go through a lot, and we worries and doubts and stuff like that. And for me, again, it was like this shift of consciousness. Again, it was about sort of like aligning with your essence, your source light and energy, and your spiritual truth, that that you have a choice, and you can integrate a different state of consciousness. You can integrate how you approach things, how you sort of choose to experience them. And we all have that. We all have that light, that energy that we can do that with. And like I said, it's the same with the other ascended masters. You've got Saint Germain, that is very much about alchemy and creation, but he's also about dissolving with a violet flame. So it dissolves all this negativity, it dissolves all this kind of this negativity that we have. And you've got like Lord Lanto, that walked with this illuminated heart, and he walked in on this time, in this on this planet, and he walked with this illuminated heart. He had this source energy, this source vibration that he walked with, and other beings were sort of like attracted to that, because it resonated with them. And it's the same with sort of like, again, Serapis Bey, that was part of an order where he was very much sort of like connected to ascension and bringing us back to oneness. And this is what all of these masters and these beings are doing. But like I said, consciousness and our ability to use it and use our energy, and create those kind of energy fields where we're in harmony, we're in balance, we're in peace. And like obviously Christ was very much around love. But love is like this kind, again, when I talk about source light and creation, it's very much about the unconditional. The unconditional is, for me, is that love. It's where you can sort of walk and be and express light, but also see in others, their true essence. Like you see, like you can feel it, and connect to within yourself. And unconditional is that, because source energy, source light, sees each and every one of us as essence, and each and every one of us is part of a whole and part of each other. There's no greater, there's no lower, there's no higher. There just is, that we're all part of the same vibration, we're all part of the same frequency. And this is unconditional. This is like love. This is the oneness that each and every one of us have come down here to actually start to really sort of connect with. And ascended masters bring teachings for that. They bring teachings because they walked on the earth. They were part, they incarnated. And they bring this energy now for each and every one of us to ascend and start to come back into this oneness light. For each and every one of us to bring this kind of unity and this harmony to each and every one of our reality and experience. And again, the ascended masters teach us this because when we go into the spirit world, we realise that we are part of this infinite vibration of source light and creation. But they also bring it to us so that we can start to shift and change our own realities, and bring this vibrational frequency through and integrate it within our own lives, to start to then, because when we do that, each and every one of us become a frequency, a vibration that actually works to start bring new energy and anchor in new energy for the new light and energy into our own experience, but it also then helps to activate the planet. And this is what it's about, the activating the planet to move the planet back up into those kind of realms and realities of where we've existed before. When I've talked about Lemuria, I've talked about Atlantis, it's very much around that, and it's about bringing us back to becoming these spiritual beings that walk on this planet, but we walk in light and energy and unconditional sort of understanding, unconditional consciousness. And this is what Christ came down to do, or this is what the Master Jesus came down to do, was to bring, and you've got like many ascended masters and infinite ascended beings that are bringing this consciousness in, this understanding that you're all part of the same vibration, you're all one vibration, there is no separation, there is only unity, and unity comes through light and energy, and the expression and the understanding that you are light and energy. And this is where this higher awareness, this is where this higher frequency, this higher consciousness starts to come into play. It is difficult because obviously we're in a very sort of like, most of our working conditions and most of our life on very sort of like three-dimensional realities, which are very much connected still to the physical world, the objective world. But we need to stop being so objective. We need to be more where we sort of like we see things not as like you know, we need to see the world in a very different way. We need to start to see it from a spiritual reality, a spiritual realm. We start to see this is why this six-dimensional consciousness of source, light, and creation is coming down. One, it's for manifestation and creation, but it's secondly, it's to elevate our consciousness to a level where we can start to be and see things from like a oneness perspective, but also from an unconditional perspective. That we don't become attached, we don't become distracted, we become more aligned. And the more we integrate this consciousness of this source, light and creation of the six-dimensional reality, the more we can start to become more one and start to see the essence and express our own essence, but also connect others' essences. So we can start to bring alignment, and we can start to bring spiritual truths and spiritual practices and spiritual integration to the planet again, like we have done in many different realities and different sort of incarnations before, which we did when we were in Atlantis and we were in Lemuria. We were very much aligned with the infinite realities of dimension and light. And this is what the masters are bringing us now, is to master this physical and our physical minds, to move past that, to access our infinite minds and our spiritual infinite selves, to start to actually express more spiritually and stop. We need to get out of worry, doubt, fear, and we need to move away from sort of feeling not secure, because we are secure. We've got abundance of energy, abundance of light. But when I'm going to come back to again the master, like Jesus, and the teaching of beingness and the consciousness, and in that sense of being like the Prince of Peace, he was able to harmonize, he was able to balance, he was able to be conscious in everything he did, and look deeper to see what the purpose was, the divine intelligence, the divine understanding. Again, this connects to Amura, again the ascended master, where we're very much connecting to that higher mind, that infinite mind, that source energy of infinite intelligence. And the ascended master Jesus was able to do that in his time, and we're being sort of like asked to access that sort of level of consciousness and understanding, to start to move past the physical and see the deeper purpose in everything, because there is a deeper purpose in most things, and lessons and opportunities that come up, and the more we become consciously aware, the more we're able to see through it and see that intelligence, that information that's there. And again, this connects to like the spiritual sort of the law of inspired action, where we sort of like we connect into our inner guidance, our inner understanding, our inner intuition. But it also connects into the archangels and the infinite masters that work around us, and they're working with us and bringing this opening up this channel, opening up this channel of information, this flow of information that comes from the infinite realms, source energy and creation, to a higher consciousness, a higher awareness. As I connect into this, I'm seeing a beautiful gold diamond that's going around my energy as I'm talking about this, and I know that the diamond for me is two triangles, and they always give it me symbolically. It's bringing heaven and earth together. It's like heaven on earth, which is the fifth dimension. So we're talking about fifth dimensional frequency here. Heaven on earth, which is very much around sort of bringing the two worlds together, and the diamond energy does that, and that's why they've just given me. So they're telling me that that is some of what I'm talking about, is bringing heaven on earth, or heaven to earth, which it already has been, it always has been, but it's raising the frequency and consciousness of each and every one of us to start to realize that we walk with spirit and spirit walk with us. We're not disconnected. We've always been aligned and connected, or sort of we've always been connected, but it's about sort of like as our consciousness shifts and becomes more open, then we start to feel that connection, and see those beings, and feel the presence of those beings around us with the masters. And like I said, when I started to talk about this, I keep seeing a being behind me with white energy, beautiful white long hair, and like a long white beard. I always feel this is an aspect of my higher self that steps forward and is integrating with me and bringing this information. The higher self works as can work as like a channel. As we start to connect into our higher self and our infinite self, then what that being, or that aspect of self, which is like part of the a higher aspect of ourself, it opens up that channel, so we become more sort of like open to the spiritual light and consciousness. And what that does is it acts as like opening us up to receive that information in this physical and human form. So that's the reading for today anyway.